You're on the road with Noble Outfitters, and over the year, we have gone to many parts around this beautiful country and asked people to come in and share their wonderful recipes with us. We'd like to share a quick show with you today of all the recipes that we've shown during the year and make sure that you have those recipes and you can see what we've been up to all around the country. And we've had everything from peanut butter pie to the most amazing ribs I've ever sunk my teeth into. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with Noble Outfitters Recipe of the Week all show long. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
In the mid-1800s, America was pushing west and expanding at a rate unknown to any previous civilization. Americans pursued their dreams and unlimited opportunity. But they needed food, equipment, seeds, and tack to press on beyond the established cities and towns already settled. Out of this demand, a new retailer was born, the General Store, who handled everything a westward family would need to survive. Today, these retailers provide rural Americans the same materials, service, and expertise that made them invaluable over 150 years ago. Join Noble Outfitters as we rediscover the retailing backbone of America. Hear their story in their own words, how they've not only survived, but actually thrived in the modern world. Come along as we go on the road with Noble Outfitters.
We are on the road with Noble Outfitters, this time literally on the road. We are going to have a chuck wagon lunch just like the old timers used to do, coming across the plains in their chuck wagons, cooking lunch and dinner out on the prairie. Today with me, I've got Damon and Buddy Winborn, and these guys are experts at the chuck wagon lunch, and they're going to tell us about all the different entrees they've prepared right here over wood in cast iron ovens. So Buddy, I understand you've been doing this for quite a few years.
About 30 years now I've been cooking in a Dutch oven.
About 30 years.
Right.
How many entrees are we going to try today?
Today we got a hash brown casserole. We got some homemade yeast bread on a recipe that I use. And we also have some cobblers, two different kinds of cobblers. Damon is my cobbler expert, and so he's prepared two different cobblers for you.
Damon might be your cobbler making expert. I'm gonna be your cobbler eating expert.
All
okay?
right, well, we'll go with that. You bet, yeah.
You know, I have to tell you something. I'm a chef. I've been a chef all my life. Started when I was 15 years old in a restaurant, cooking. And after 25 years, worked as a chef. So this is gonna be a tremendous treat for me to see how you've prepared these wonderful entrees out here with just wood and charcoal right out here outside.
Yes,
so I'm ready to take a look at some of these items. Maybe you can describe them to us.
You bet.
Let's take a look.
Dad's gonna pop the lid on a few of them here right quick. First thing he's gonna pop a lid on is our hash brown casserole. We've taken the casserole recipe, we've changed it up a little bit. We've added bacon, sausage, we've added salsa, we've added some peppers, some onions, and we've kind of styled it up a little bit, put a little bit of spice to it, not a whole lot, little green chilies.
Okay.
Spiced it up a little bit.
All right. Can't wait to try that one.
We're gonna hook that up here in just a little bit. It's great. It's nice for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, either one. That's what we liked about it. We're gonna open a cobbler here, or that's gonna be the other hash brown casserole that we've got.
Okay.
This one is gonna be our cherry cobbler.
Cherry cobbler.
The cherry cobbler.
Okay, so absolutely. Okay, you're talking about a cast iron.
Yes, sir.
Bowl.
This cast iron pot, this Dutch oven is what they're called.
Okay.
We took the Dutch oven. We use a lot of charcoal. We put anywhere from 10 to 15 on top, 10 or 12 underneath.
Okay, on top of the lid.
On top
so
of
you're
this
going
lid.
on top of the lid
Yes, sir.
and underneath, and
Yes,
you're
sir.
putting it around the fire. And the crust, though, I noticed the crust on the cobbler is brown. It's like it's browned up, just like it was in an oven.
What's the nice thing about this is you're able to actually use it just like an oven. No matter whatever you can cook in your restaurant, we can cook right here on the open,
That's
in a
amazing.
cobbler. I mean, because it's basically an oven. You've got heat on top, heat on bottom, and so your crust is the same on both
The only
sides.
thing at the restaurant is I don't get this smoke in my eyes.
Smoke or the wind.
You don't get this ambiance either.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, the thing about the oven is, for people that's watching that don't know anything about them, a Dutch oven requires a lip so it holds the coals,
So hold the coals in.
as well as the legs.
Legs.
A lot of people
Keep it off the coals.
has a pot that is cast iron. but it doesn't. It's like this pot over here with no legs and no lid on it.
Okay.
And you can't do what we do with them.
So with that one, you're going to suspend over the coals and use it more like something you're boiling.
Yeah, our ranch beans and our stews and stuff like that.
Okay, amazing. So what else we got here?
And then our last one is our apple cobbler.
Oh my goodness.
This is an apple cobbler that, again, I make up my own recipes on them. And so basically when I get my fillings, I add this, I add that, I kind of add it to taste. I may add brown sugar, I may add cinnamon, you know, and so I change it up a little bit. Each time, it's always just a little bit different.
Now every week on the show, what we like to do is give people a recipe for what it is we're doing.
Yeah.
So I'd like to get some of your recipes.
Yeah.
I'm also going to get the name of the pots so that people can try this at home when they're out fishing or camping and try to make one of your cobblers
most definitely.
out there.
Okay?
Okay, we'll do that.
What's nice is we actually put on schools. We actually have people that'll come in and we actually teach people how to do this. You know, people that are in their RVs or people that are just going around, we actually do a class and we teach people how to do this right here with a simple pot. So if they lose electricity, like we have around here for the last month,
Yes,
everybody can still cook a meal and still have dinner.
absolutely. This is an art.
It is an art. It takes, you got to learn your steel. You got to know each one of these pots has a personality just like a person, and you learn that.
And they all cook different, and they all, and it, weather, you got it, not only is it just the pots, but it's the weather. I mean, we're misty, we're kind of nasty today, we're cold. You know, you get a day
So that's
where
going to affect the heat on the pot.
Yes.
You get a day where it's 80 degrees.
Absolutely.
No wind. Your dude's in 4 or 5 cold.
I can't tell you how much we appreciate you folks being out here since 3 o'clock this morning, cooking up this wonderful food. And we're going to get everybody out here and have a big Chuck Wagon lunch and tell them a little bit more about these wonderful entrees you cooked up.
Most definitely.
Thank you very much for coming out.
It's been our pleasure,
for us.
sir.
It's my pleasure.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us.
Yes, sir. We're on the road with Noble Outfitters. Stay tuned, and we're all going to have lunch. We'll be right back. You're on the road with Noble Outfitters, and every week on our show, we'd like to share the recipe of the week with the people out there, and we collect all the recipes from the different stores that we visit, and we share them with you, so stay tuned, and we're going to tell you about how you can get these recipes on our website. Today, Jack Peacock, the owner of Stagecoach West, is sharing with me his Cowboy Chowder. So Jack, tell me a little bit about this beautiful soup, and I've already been tasting a little bit of it, I'm sorry, but...
Well,
so
I would tell you that like most horse people, we like to have, we like to ride, we like to camp, and we like to eat. And when we're riding, most times when we're riding, it's cold, and so we got into making a chowder. We love a good beef chowder, and this is a composition we put together. It's got a little bit of a kick to it, and that's what we like. We like it hot.
That's delicious. That's just, you know I'm a chef.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I spent 25 years in the kitchen, had my
Really?
own restaurants, and one of my specialties is soups. And it's interesting that you're calling this a chowder because when somebody told me that we're going to have some chowder today, I'm thinking it's going to be a clam chowder, but it's actually a beef chowder, which is wonderful. It's a very hearty soup and would be great out on the trail. And so the ingredients you have in here is just a lot of different vegetables, some good ground beef.
Yep.
And really, I think the most important thing about a soup is the broth, though, the stock, the background of the soup. And so to be able to get that nice deep beef broth is what brings the flavor out. So, you know, how many years you been making this soup?
Oh, we've been making, I can't tell you, it's been several years. It's been a long time.
Great.
Got a great cabin up in the woods, and when we're up there, it's almost a regular thing.
I love it. And maybe a little cornbread or some biscuits with it.
Yeah. Hunting camp is great.
I like it. Every week we share our recipe with our viewers. So go to our website, nobleoutfitters.com/RFDTV, and get all the recipes from On the Road with Noble Outfitters. Jack, it's a wonderful soup. This has been a wonderful visit.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much,
You
my
bet.
friend.
Thank you, my friend.
Today, co-owner of Cool Horse, Missy Harris, is going to share a very important old recipe with us today that really means something to the family.
It does. This is Santa Fe soup, and this recipe was given to me by a friend of ours when Matt and I first got married and were first starting out. She kind of took us under her wing and fed us a lot and helped us plant trees, and she did all kinds of stuff for us.
She was very neighborly.
She was. She kept kids, and she introduced me to this recipe, and it was easy and it was cheap, and so I make it a lot now.
It seems like something that the whole family would like. You know, there's some kick to it. You know, there's some spice in the background.
Yes,
but
yes.
Tell me a little bit about the recipe. You know, I'm a chef.
I know. That's why I was a little nervous about you tasting my soup.
No, this is absolutely delicious. So you made it. You made it through. Now, tell me a little bit about the recipe. How do you put this together?
Well, it's really simple. I just saute some onions and some bell peppers and add some ground beef and some sausage and let all that cook and brown, and then add Rotel tomatoes and ranch-style beans and corn and a lot of Velveeta cheese, and a lot of Velveeta cheese with Mexican in it. So it's got some jalapenos in it, and sometimes my family will add sour cream or jalapenos. And
Now, the other thing you could do if you really want to spice it up, you could actually put fresh jalapenos
Could?
in.
Sure.
And you could take it in a different direction. This is a perfect kind of one of those recipes that you could move. So the kids could like it just where it's at.
Sure.
But if the adults wanted a little something more spicy, they could definitely add some kick to it.
Yes.
Well, that's wonderful. It's a wonderful recipe.
Thanks.
Thank you, Missy.
Thank
it's
you
a
so much.
pleasure. Thank
Uh-huh.
you very much. And we really appreciate your hospitality today.
I'm so glad you came.
You're on the road with Noble Outfitters, and this week on the Recipe of the Week, we have Lynette Boone, the owner of Cowpokes, going to tell us a little bit about a wonderful sandwich called the Italian roast beef sandwich.
Yes.
Oh, baby. Well, I can smell it, and you need to talk fast because I'm going to be jumping in there pretty quick. In fact, I may be jumping as you're talking, okay?
That's okay.
All
Go
right,
for
so
it.
a little bit about, did you know I was a chef? I just told you
You
that a
did
little
tell
bit
me
ago.
that.
For people out there, too, they're looking for things that are easy to make and easy to not mess up and
Right.
easy to make good and always be good. So this is a great one. So tell me a little bit about the recipe and how this all got started.
Well, the recipe it's Italian roast beef sandwiches. I make it for like when we do road shows and that for a big group of people. So I only know how to make 30 to 40 servings. What I do
That's
is
probably probably enough for home. That might be enough for me.
what I do is just take like an inexpensive meat, like a roast, beef roast, beef roast. I put it in the roaster. I use the Louis au jus seasoning mix, mix it with some water, pour it over the roast, and then I fill the roaster over the top of the meat. I add green pepper, onion, and the best is the pepper rings
The
that
little
I add.
sliced peppers.
Yes. I add all that and then cook it for 8 to 10 hours. The longer, the better. And then once it's done cooking, take the meat out, shred it, and then put it back in the roaster and let it heat up until you're ready to eat it.
That's perfect. Well, and you mentioned the lesser expensive cuts, I'll tell you, the lesser expensive cuts, they're not the lesser quality cuts.
Right.
They're the lesser expensive cuts. And one of the reasons today that they're lesser expensive cuts is because they take time to cook. And today's consumer is looking to cook things quickly. So they want a steak or a chicken breast or something fast. And what's interesting is my mom take a pot roast and she'll make you a meal you'll cry over, okay? I'm telling you, it's beautiful because that pot roast, it does take time to cook, but it's where all that flavor is,
That's right.
And
That's why I cook it so long.
and they do take long, short ribs, pot roast, a nice roast like this, a chuck roast. It's a beautiful dish, and it stays moist and it's so tender. Well, I'm really glad you shared this with me. And
Did you like it?
I did like it. I hate to drool over myself here on the camera. And this week's recipe of the week is going to be very delicious. I have with me today Gina Iannero.
Yes.
And Gina has made up for us some fresh waffles, but the most important part about these waffles is the homemade syrup, correct?
Yes.
All right, so tell me about this syrup and tell me how it's been in the family for a long time. You actually make the maple syrup.
We do make the maple syrup.
All right.
We've been producing maple syrup for 4 generations now, and I'm the 4th. My husband had started it, and we have a large evaporator that we use. We tap, this year we're going to tap about 500 trees.
Wow.
And it takes about 40 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of maple syrup. And it takes a very long time. It has to boil and boil and boil. So when the sap comes out of the tree, it's only 2% sugar. has to boil down. All that water has
So-
to evaporate.
So you said this was 4 generations.
4 generations.
And so that was your great,
My
great
great-great-grandfather started
grandfather.
this. Yes.
and was he up in this area?
Up
or?
in this area, in Jaga County, Ohio, which is a wonderful place for maple syrup. Delicious.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
And then my grandfather did it, and he sold many gallons. My father did it, and my husband just started doing it again. So it's really exciting around our house where we're getting all of this going
So
again.
I'm trying to figure out, you tap the tree, right? So you put something into the tree,
You put a spile into the tree.
and it just works to where it just starts dripping into a bucket.
It drips into a bucket. The evenings have to be cold, and the days have to be warm for all of it to work down through the maple tree. And you have to use either a red maple or a silver maple. Some people use black. We don't have black around here, I don't believe. And then you can make maple candy afterwards, and you can make maple spread to put on ice cream. All kinds of fun
That's the
things.
best maple syrup. And I love pancakes and waffles, so am I going to be able to take a little bit of this
Of
home with
course
me?
you are.
Just a
Yes.
couple 3 gallons
Yeah.
is all I'll need.
Sure.
But I wonder, what would be interesting is to be able to have people make this at home if they were able to buy like a starter kit of the maple syrup. So if you gave them the concentrate with the instructions of how to make it at home, they could make their own syrup based
Yes.
on the because it's probably, when it comes out of the tree, it's like hard, right?
It's no, it's a clear liquid.
It's a clear liquid.
It's just a clear. It looks like water,
Okay.
but tastes a little sweeter.
Okay, and then that's what you refine.
Yes.
And you boil and boil and boil to that to reduce
Yes.
and become the syrup.
Yes.
But it'd be interesting if we could figure out how, to get people a starter kit of the sap, right?
Yeah.
And then be able to make their own syrup.
Yeah.
That could be another business.
It
You and I
could
ought to
be.
think about
we
that.
We should think about that.
Yeah, we could.
That'd be
Hey,
great.
we could be
maple syrup through the whole country,
Yeah.
and not just up here.
Had to, spread the word, man.
Yes.
Spread the love.
Beautiful, beautiful maple syrup.
All right, so go to our website for that great waffle recipe. You won't be able to do the syrup because it's homemade and it's been made for 4 generations, but get the best syrup you can get your hands on. Enjoy these wonderful waffles. And Gina, I want to thank you very much for taking the
Thank
time
you.
for showing me this beautiful recipe and treating me to breakfast. I really enjoyed it, and stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're on the road with Noble Outfitters. We're back with On the Road with Noble Outfitters, and every week we'd like to put an ending to our show by sharing a recipe with all of you out there and all the different trips that we've made around the country of some wonderful recipes from around this great country. Today we are with Barbara Bellotti. Hello, Barbara.
Hello, how are you?
And she's going to share with us her homemade lasagna and peach cobbler. And I'm noticing a few things about the lasagna. It's not a typical lasagna because, I'm a chef, 25 years. I didn't tell you that ahead of time.
No, you didn't.
Okay. 25 years I've been a chef, but I'm telling you, I haven't seen the lasagna put together with pasta, with the cut pasta. And also on your cobbler, it's a little bit like what we call a peach Betty, where it's like got a cake cooked into it. So we're going to learn a little bit more about that. So tell us about the lasagna recipe
Well,
first.
when my husband and I were first married, he was in the Air Force and so was my dad, and we were stationed in England. And we would go to London and spend the weekend, and just down the street from the hotel where we stayed, there was a little Italian restaurant, and he absolutely loved their lasagna. I tried to find out how it was made. The waiter spoke very little English, and the chef spoke none at all. So we kind of had an interesting conversation figuring out how this was made, and this was the result.
Well, that was a good recipe that you got your hands on because that is absolutely delicious. Today, Linda Durrance is going to share with us an age-old recipe for peanut butter pie. And I have to say, Linda, I kind of snuck just a little bit of taste off the side.
That's good.
And I'm telling you, it is really, really delicious because there's a combination of the custard and the peanut butter and everything. But I want you to tell me about that. When did you get started making this?
When I first got married 48 years ago, I started with a basic vanilla cream pie filling. and I made that for chocolate and peanut butter, and I just over the years tweaked it and added this and added that.
So the cream filling, you make this also and make a chocolate.
I make it in
So
a
you'll put
chocolate
chocolate
too.
in the cream, so it ends up being a chocolate cream.
Right.
But you've got a beautiful custard here. And then, what's giving it the strong peanut butter flavor though?
I take peanut butter and confectioner's sugar and mix it together and put a layer on the cooled pie crust and then put my custard, and then I do another layer and then sprinkle some on top of the meringue.
You know, one of the most important parts of a pie is always, of course, the crust. Tell us a little bit about how you make that crust, because it's so flaky and it stays crisp, but it doesn't get soggy.
I use butter, a combination of butter and Crisco.
Okay.
And the butter gives it the flavor and the Crisco makes it flaky.
Did you know I'm a chef?
No, I did not.
25 years I've been a chef.
Wow.
I worked in my restaurants. First job I ever had for 25 years cooking, but I never really did any baking.
Oh, okay.
I can make you a great pot of soup, but I can't make any pies.
All right, well, come to my kitchen and I'll teach you.
And I'll teach you how to make soup. That'd be fun.
Okay.
Linda, I got to thank you very much today for preparing this for us. We really appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure meeting you.
Same to you.
We're going to try today a buttermilk pie, which is, after 25 years of food service for myself, I've never even heard about a buttermilk pie. So, Mimi, tell us a little bit about this buttermilk pie. And I have to say, I stuck a little taste here just a minute ago. It's incredible. But buttermilk pie, I've never even heard of it.
Well, my grandmother made buttermilk pie, and it has buttermilk and eggs and sugar and butter, just all the good stuff.
Now, what binds it? What keeps the pie intact? Of course, we're going to give everybody the recipe, so you don't have to remember this. But I'm just curious to buttermilk, and I'm just thinking pie. How did it get to be a pie? You got eggs.
Eggs.
Okay, so eggs is kind of the binding. So
Right.
you bind it up with eggs, and what else?
It has a little bit of cornmeal, a little bit of flour,
Okay, cornmeal and flour. Great.
and then just buttermilk, sugar.
Oh, okay. So I'm
Butter.
gonna taste it here in a minute. But you also mentioned something like, have you heard of chess or something?
Right.
Chess. I was thinking about playing chess. I've never heard of the term chess, and you said maybe it's a Texas thing.
It must be. It must
But
be.
what is chess? What
Just-
you said lemon chess? Is it,
Right.
Is it similar to this? It would be like a lemon pie that's kind of like this. It's kind of a custard
It's
pie.
like this, and they make it with milk instead of buttermilk.
Okay, so and it's a lemon flavor.
Well, you can make plain, which would be just vanilla, or you could make lemon with lemon juice.
So whose recipe was this in the beginning? You said your mom's?
My grandmother's.
Your grandmother's. So this pie is being made for 100 years.
Yes.
That's incredible. Well, I can tell you something. This is a fantastic pie. You all are going to get the recipe. I can't thank you enough for being here with us today, sharing your recipe, fixing me some pie, and showing us some hospitality.
You're welcome. Come
you.
back anytime.
Thank you very much. And one more quick thing I got to ask you.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit about the special relationship you have with someone here at Teskey's.
Oh, well, my daughter and son-in-law own the store, and my son works here, and my whole family's here just about.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you again,
Thank you.
and we'll see you again.
Okay, thank
Take
you.
care. You'll be able to get this recipe and all the other recipes from On the Road with Noble Outfitters by going to nobleoutfitters.com/RFDTV and get all of our recipes and enjoy them with your families. Come on, Bessie. Here we go. Okay, baby, here we go. Where are we going next? Nobody knows. Holy mackerel. Whoa, Bessie, whoa. Oh, I better turn down a low gear a little bit here. There we go. All righty. Oh, I missed the boots. Come on, Bessie. Here we go.